What if the secret to making someone miss you isn't chasing them, but rediscovering you? Carl Jung, the master of the human psyche, believed true power lies in becoming whole within yourself. Imagine this after a heartbreak. You stop begging, stop texting, and start shining. Suddenly, the one who walked away can't stop thinking about you. This isn't magic, it's psychology. In this video, we're diving into the 5th of June G-inspired steps to transform your energy, reclaim your worth, and make your presence so magnetic, even the past turns back to look twice. Stay until the end, because this isn't just about love. It's about becoming the woman who never needs to chase, ready to unlock your inner power. Let's begin. Silence isn't empty. It's electric. Carl Jung, the pioneer of depth psychology, taught us that true transformation begins when we face the parts of ourselves we've buried our shadow. After a breakup, your instinct might scream to text, call, or beg for answers. But here's the truth. Every desperate message you send is like pouring gasoline on a fire that's already burning you out. Instead, Carl Jung's wisdom points to a different path. Silence, not the kind that feels like giving up, but a strategic, soul-deep silence that shifts the entire game. This is the power of emotional silence, and it's your first step to becoming magnetic. Why does silence work? Because it's not just the absence of words, it's the presence of you. When you stop reaching out, you create a void that echoes louder than any argument. Carl Jung's concept of shadow work teaches us to confront our inner pain, those feelings of rejection, insecurity, or neediness, and transform them into strength. Silence is where this work begins. It's not about disappearing to manipulate someone else. It's about stepping back to rediscover you. When you choose silence, you're saying, I'm worth more than chasing someone who walked away. And that, sister, is a message that resonates across miles, straight into their psyche. Let's paint a picture. Imagine Sarah, a 32-year-old graphic designer. After her boyfriend left without a word, she was crushed. Her first instinct, flood his phone with texts, asking why, pleading for closure. But each message made her feel smaller, like she was begging for scraps of his attention. Then, she stumbled across Carl Jung's idea of the shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves we avoid. Sarah decided to try silence. No texts, no calls, no late-night Instagram stalking. Instead, she journaled her pain, pouring out her anger and heartbreak. She started therapy to face her insecurities head-on. Over weeks, something shifted. Sarah wasn't just quiet, she was radiant. Her confidence grew, her creativity soared, and her friends noticed a new spark in her eyes. 3 months later, her ex sent a hesitant, "Hey, how are you?" text. Why? Because her silence wasn't empty. It was a signal she'd reclaimed her power. This isn't just a story, it's psychology at work. Carl Jung believed our shadow holds the emotions we suppress, like desperation or fear of abandonment. When you chase someone, you're feeding that shadow, letting it control you. But when you choose silence, you're doing shadow work, facing those emotions, healing them, and building a stronger self. That strength creates a ripple effect. The person who's used to your constant texts, your availability, your energy, they feel the absence. It's like walking past a vibrant cafe every day. Then one day, it's closed. You stop. You wonder. You miss it. That's what your silence does. It creates a contrast so stark. They can't ignore it. Here's the science behind it. Human brains are wired to notice change. When you go silent, You disrupt their expectations. If they're used to your messages lighting up their phone, your sudden absence becomes a question mark they can't shake. Carl Jung would say this taps into the collective unconscious, a primal instinct to seek what's missing. Your ex starts wondering, why isn't she reaching out? Has she moved on? Is she happier without me? That uncertainty isn't just noise, it's a spark that ignites curiosity, even longing. And the best part, you're not doing this to win them back. You're doing it to win you back. But silence alone isn't enough. It has to be active. While you're quiet, dive into shadow work. Write down your fears. I'm not enough. I'll never find love again. Face them. Challenge them. Replace them with truths. I am whole. My worth doesn't depend on anyone. Start small. Take a yoga class. Read a book. Or pick up a hobby you've neglected. Every step you take builds your inner empire. Sarah, or designer, started sketching again. Something she'd abandoned during her relationship. Each drawing was a brick in her rebuilt confidence. By the time her ex reached out, she didn't even need his validation. She'd found it within herself. Here's the key. Silence isn't passive. It's a choice. A rebellion against desperation. It's you saying, I refuse to beg for love when I can create it within myself. Carl Jung taught that true power comes from integrating your shadow, not hiding it, not feeding it, but transforming it. When you stop chasing, you start growing. And that growth, it's magnetic. People don't just notice your absence, they feel it. They sense the shift in your energy, even from afar. So, sister, delete that draft text. Put down the phone. Step into silence and let it speak for you. Because when you master the art of saying nothing, you become impossible to forget. Have you ever noticed how someone only chases you when you stop running? Carl Jung would say, that's no accident. It's the magnetic pull of the anima, the feminine energy within every man's psyche. In the dance of relationships, chasing screams desperation. But stepping back, that's power. This is the art of reverse psychology, not manipulation, but a profound shift in energy that makes you irresistible. By withdrawing your attention, you awaken a primal instinct in the one who walked away. And Carl Jung's wisdom shows us why. Welcome to the second step, using reverse psychology to reclaim your allure. Carl Jung taught that the anima is the unconscious feminine side of a man, a force that craves connection with mystery, depth, and authenticity. When you're always available texting, calling, waiting, you become predictable, like a song played on repeat until it loses its charm. But when you pull back, you become an enigma. That shift triggers the anima, stirring a man's instinct to pursue what feels just out of reach. Reverse psychology works because it flips the script. Instead of you chasing love, love starts chasing you. And the best part, this isn't about playing games, it's about embodying a confidence so radiant, it demands attention. Picture Emily, a 29-year-old teacher. After her partner left, she spent weeks obsessing, sending long messages about how much she cared. Each word felt like a plea, and each silence from him cut deeper. Then, inspired by Carl Jung's Anima concept, she decided to change course. Emily stopped texting. She unfollowed him on social media, not out of spite, but to free herself. She poured her energy into her passions: teaching, painting, even training for a half marathon. Months later, her ex reached out with a simple, "I saw your race photo, you look happy." That wasn't just a message, it was proof her transformation had sparked his anima. Emily's absence wasn't loud, it was luminous. Why does this happen? Carl Jung believed the anima is drawn to women who embody their truest selves. When you chase, You dim your light, projecting neediness that repels the anima. But when you withdraw, focusing on your growth, you radiate an inner strength that's impossible to ignore. Reverse psychology taps into a universal truth. Humans want what feels rare and valuable. By stepping back, you're not ignoring someone, you're redefining your worth. You're saying, I'm not the one waiting anymore. That shift in energy creates a pull, like a tide drawing a ship back to shore. Let's break it down with science. Psychologists call this the scarcity principle. We crave what's hard to get. When you're always available, you're abundant, and abundance can breed indifference. But when you become selective with your energy, you create scarcity, and scarcity breeds desire. Carl Jung would add a deeper layer. The anima seeks a woman who mirrors its ideals: confidence, mystery, independence. When Emily stopped chasing, she wasn't just scarce. She was a living reflection of the anima's longing. Her ex didn't just miss her texts. He missed the woman she was becoming, a woman he no longer fully understood. Here's where it gets practical. Reverse psychology isn't about cold indifference or petty games. It's about strategic withdrawal, a conscious choice to redirect your energy inward. Start by setting boundaries. No more late-night texts. No more checking his stories. Instead, invest in you. Take a class. Start a project. Or simply spend time alone, rediscovering what lights you up. Emily found joy in painting. Each brushstroke a step toward her authentic self. That authenticity is what the anima craves, not a woman who begs, but one who is, as Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. That's the heart of reverse psychology, becoming so whole. You don't need anyone to complete you. But there's a catch. This only works if your withdrawal is genuine. Faking it, pretending to be busy while secretly hoping he'll notice, won't cut it. The anima senses inauthenticity. Your focus must be on your own growth, not his reaction. When Emily ran that half marathon, she wasn't thinking about her ex. She was running for herself. That's why her energy shifted. And that's why he felt it. Your silence, your absence, your transformation, they all speak louder than words ever could. Here's the beauty of it. Reverse psychology isn't just about relationships, it's about power. When you stop chasing, you reclaim control over your emotions, your time, your life. You're no longer at the mercy of someone else's choices, and that shift, it's magnetic. Carl Jung believed the anima is a bridge to the soul, and by embodying your truest self, you become that bridge, not just for someone else, but for yourself. So, sister, stop running after love. Stand still, grow, and let love find you. Because when you spark the anima, you don't just draw someone back, you draw the world to you. What if the key to being unforgettable isn't giving more, but giving less? Carl Jung believed that true value comes from within. Through a process he called individuation, becoming whole by embracing every part of yourself. In relationships, when you're always available, always texting, always there, you risk becoming invisible. But when you make your emotional presence rare, you become a treasure. This is the power of emotional scarcity. The third step in our Carl Jung-inspired journey. It's not about playing hard to get, it's about being hard to replace. Let's dive into why scarcity makes you magnetic and how it can transform your life. Carl Jung's Individuation is about discovering your unique essence, the core of who you are beyond anyone's approval. When you pour all your energy into someone else checking their stories, sending good morning texts, or waiting for their reply, you dilute that essence. You become abundant, predictable, like water in a river that's always flowing. But when you pull back, When you choose to protect your energy, you become like a rare gem, precious, sought after, unforgettable. Emotional scarcity isn't a game, it's a universal law. As Carl Jung might say, it's about valuing your inner world so deeply that others can't help but value it too. Let's meet Lisa, a 35-year-old marketing manager. After her breakup, she was everywhere, liking his posts, sending casual, "How's it going?" messages, hoping he'd see her worth. But the more she gave, the less he cared. Then, inspired by Carl Jung's idea of individuation, Lisa decided to focus on herself. She stopped all contact, not out of spite, but to reclaim her time. She enrolled in a photography course, started hiking, and even launched a side hustle selling her prints. Her life became full not of him, but of her. 6 months later, at a friend's party, her ex saw her laughing, confident, glowing. He pulled her aside and said, "You've changed. I miss the old you." But Lisa smiled. She didn't miss the old her. She'd become a woman too rare to ignore. Why does emotional scarcity work? It's rooted in psychology and Carl Jung's teachings. The scarcity principle says, we desire what's rare. Think of a limited edition sneaker or a once-in-a-lifetime concert ticket. Your emotional presence is no different. When you're always available, you're taken for granted. Like air, you breathe without thinking. But when you limit your availability, you create urgency. Carl Jung's individuation adds depth by focusing on your own growth. You align with your truest self, radiating a confidence that's magnetic. When Lisa stopped chasing, she wasn't just scarce, she was whole. Her ex didn't just notice her absence, he felt the weight of her newfound strength. Science backs this up. Studies show that scarcity increases perceived value, whether it's a product or a person. When you're no longer a constant in someone's life, their brain starts to wonder, where is she? What's she doing? Has she moved on? This isn't manipulation, it's human nature. Carl Jung would argue that this curiosity taps into the collective unconscious, a primal drive to seek what's valuable. Your scarcity signals that you're no longer an option on standby, you're a prize worth pursuing. And the beauty, you're not doing this for them. You're doing it for you. Building a life so rich that your presence becomes a privilege. Here's how to make it practical. Emotional scarcity starts with boundaries. Stop initiating contact. No texts, no calls, no accidental likes. Redirect that energy to your individuation journey. Ask yourself, what makes me feel alive? Maybe it's learning a new skill, like Lisa's photography, or reconnecting with friends you've neglected. Every choice to prioritize yourself is a step toward wholeness. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life. By choosing scarcity, you're making a conscious choice to value your energy, your time, your heart. But here's the catch. Scarcity only works if it's authentic. Pretending to be busy while secretly hoping they'll notice is like wearing fake jewelry. It might shine, but it won't last. True scarcity comes from a full life. Lisa didn't fake her transformation, she lived it, filling her days with passion and purpose. When her ex saw her at that party, he wasn't drawn to a tactic. He was drawn to her radiance. That's the power of individuation when you become whole. You don't need their validation, but you naturally attract it. This isn't just about love, it's about life. Emotional scarcity teaches you to guard your energy like a treasure, not just in relationships, but in friendships, work, everything. When you're selective with your time, you signal to the world and to yourself that you're worth it. Carl Jung believed individuation is a lifelong journey. but every step you take makes you more magnetic. So, sister, stop giving your heart away like it's on clearance. Make it rare. Make it sacred. And watch how the world responds. Because when you embody emotional scarcity, you don't just stand out, you shine. What if heartbreak isn't the end, but the beginning of your greatest transformation? Carl Jung called it individuation. The journey to becoming your truest, most whole self, where pain becomes the fuel for growth. After a breakup, it's easy to feel broken, like a house reduced to rubble. But here's the secret, that rubble is the foundation for a stronger, more radiant you. This is the fourth step in our Carl Jung-inspired journey, personal rebirth. It's not about changing to win someone back. It's about rebuilding yourself so powerfully that you become unstoppable, whether they return or not. Carl Jung believed individuation is the process of integrating every part of yourself, your strengths, your flaws, your dreams, even your pain, into a complete, authentic whole. A breakup, as devastating as it feels, is a wake-up call, a chance to rediscover the woman you've always been meant to be. Instead of chasing someone who walked away, you turn inward, rebuilding your confidence, your passions, your purpose. This isn't about putting on a new mask. It's about stripping away the layers of doubt and dependency to reveal the masterpiece beneath. When you focus on your own growth, you don't just heal, you evolve. Let's meet Rachel, a 34-year-old nurse who hit rock bottom after her fiancé left her. She lost her spark, her job felt draining, and her days were filled with what-ifs. Then, she stumbled across Carl Jung's Individuation and decided to rebuild. Rachel started small. She joined a gym. Not to impress anyone, but to feel strong again. She took an online course in nutrition, something she'd always wanted to explore. She even began volunteering at a local shelter, reconnecting with her love for helping others. Month by month, Rachel transformed not just her body, but her mindset. A year later, her ex saw her at a community event. Glowing with confidence, he tried to reconnect, saying, "I didn't realize what I lost." But Rachel didn't need him anymore, she'd found herself. Her rebirth wasn't for him, it was for her. Why does personal rebirth matter? Because it shifts your energy from lack to abundance. Carl Jung taught that individuation is about becoming whole, not by seeking external validation, but by cultivating inner strength. When you chase someone, you're saying, "I need you to feel complete." But when you rebuild yourself, you're declaring, "I am enough." That declaration radiates a magnetic energy that others can't ignore. It's not about looking different or posting perfect selfies. It's about the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your worth. A confidence that Carl Jung would say aligns with your deepest self. Science supports this transformation. Studies on personal growth show that investing in yourself, whether through learning, fitness, or new experiences, boosts self-esteem and resilience. This isn't just about feeling better, it's about becoming better. When Rachel hit the gym or learned a new skill, she wasn't just passing time, she was rewiring her brain to see herself as capable, worthy, powerful. Carl Jung's Individuation takes this further. It's a spiritual alchemy, turning the lead of pain into the gold of wisdom. Every step you take toward your own growth makes you more magnetic, not because you're trying to impress, but because you're living authentically. Here's how to start your rebirth. First, identify one area of your life you want to grow: your body, your mind, your career, your spirit. Pick something that excites you, not something you think will impress someone else. Maybe it's running a 5K, writing a blog, or meditating daily. Rachel started with the gym because it made her feel alive, not because she wanted her ex's attention. Next, commit to small, consistent steps. Carl Jung said, "The greatest changes come from the smallest beginnings. A single workout, a single page written, a single moment of courage, they add up." Finally, embrace your pain as a teacher. Write down what this breakup taught you. I'm stronger than I thought. I deserve better. Let those lessons guide your growth. The catch: rebirth requires patience. It's not a quick fix or a glow-up for Instagram. It's a deep, intentional process of becoming. Rachel didn't transform overnight. She built her new self, one choice at a time. But every choice made her stronger, more centered, more her. And that's the magic of individuation. When you become whole, you don't need someone else to complete you. If they come back, it's because they see the woman. You've become a woman who doesn't beg, but chooses. This rebirth isn't just for love, it's for life. The confidence you build spills into every corner of your world, from your career to your friendships. Carl Jung believed individuation is the path to true freedom, where you live for yourself, not for others' approval. So, sister, stop waiting for someone to see your worth. Build it, grow it, live it. Because when you rebirth yourself through individuation, you don't just recover, you reign. Why does staying in touch after a breakup feel like holding on, but actually pushes them further away? Carl Jung taught that true strength comes from aligning with yourself, the core of who you are, untouched by external validation. After a heartbreak, it's tempting to keep texting, liking posts, or dropping hints, hoping they'll see your worth. But here's the truth. Every attempt to stay connected traps you in a cycle of desperation, dimming your light. This is the fifth step in our Carl Jung-inspired journey, avoiding the trap of contact and embracing the power of absence. Because when you disappear with dignity, you don't just heal, you become unforgettable. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, becoming whole by embracing your true self, requires space to grow. Staying in contact after a breakup is like trying to plant a seed in a crowded garden. It can't take root. Each "how are you" text or subtle story view keeps you tethered to their approval, draining your energy. Carl Jung would say this pulls you away from yourself, keeping you stuck in a version of you that begs for love. But absolute silence, that's fertile soil for transformation. By cutting contact, you're not running away. You're choosing to focus on your own individuation, letting your absence speak louder than words. Let's meet Mia, a 31-year-old writer. After her relationship ended, she couldn't let go. She sent occasional texts, commented on his posts, thinking it would keep her in his mind. But each message felt like a rejection when he barely responded. Then, inspired by Carl Jung's teachings, Mia chose silence. No texts, no likes, no checking his social media. She poured her energy into her craft. Writing a novel she'd shelved for years. She started therapy to explore herself, uncovering dreams she'd buried. 6 months later, Mia's novel was gaining buzz, and her confidence was electric. At a mutual friends event, her ex approached her, stunned, saying, "You're so different now." Mia smiled. She wasn't different. She was herself. Her absence hadn't just caught his attention, it had rewritten her story. Why does cutting contact work? It's not about punishing someone, it's about protecting your energy. Carl Jung believed the self is the center of your psyche, and chasing external validation disconnects you from it. Contact keeps them comfortable, knowing you're still there, just a message away. But silence creates a void. And human nature hates a void. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Our brains obsess over unfinished stories. When you vanish without explanation, you become that story, an unanswered question they can't ignore. Carl Jung might add that this taps into the collective unconscious, a primal fear of losing something valuable. Your absence isn't just noticed, it's felt, like a melody that stops mid-note. Science reinforces this. Studies show that uncertainty drives curiosity, even obsession. When you stop contacting someone, their brain scrambles to fill the gap. Why isn't she reaching out? Has she moved on? This isn't manipulation, it's psychology. By removing your presence, you shift the dynamic, making them question their choice to leave. But here's the key. This isn't about them. It's about you. Carl Jung's Individuation is about prioritizing your growth over their approval. Mia didn't go silent to win her ex back. She did it to write her novel, to reconnect with herself. Her absence was a byproduct of her transformation. And that's why it was so powerful. How do you avoid the trap of contact? Start with a clean break. No texts. No calls. No social media interactions. Block or mute them if you need to. Not out of anger, but to protect your peace. Then, redirect your energy to your individuation. Ask, what have I always wanted to do? Maybe it's writing, like Mia, or learning to cook, or traveling solo. Fill your life with purpose, not placeholders. Carl Jung said, your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Every moment you spend on yourself journaling, exercising, dreaming is a step toward clarity. And that clarity, it's magnetic. The catch is commitment. Silence isn't easy. It's a discipline. You'll feel the urge to check their profile or send a casual text. Resist it. Every time you do, you're choosing yourself over fleeting validation. Mia struggled at first, tempted to like a post. But she reminded herself, my energy is for me now. That choice transformed her. Your silence must be active, filled with growth, not waiting. Because when you're busy building yourself, you don't have time to chase shadows. This isn't just about love, it's about power. Avoiding the trap of contact frees you from needing anyone's approval. Carl Jung believed individuation is the path to true freedom, where your worth comes from, within. So, sister, stop lingering in their orbit. Disappear with grace. Grow in silence. And let your absence echo, because when you cut contact and embrace yourself, you don't just move on, you become a force. You are not the woman who begs for love, you are the woman who creates it. Carl Jung's wisdom has shown us the path to true power, not chasing, but becoming, through silence. Reverse psychology, scarcity, rebirth, and cutting contact. You've learned to align with yourself, to embrace individuation, and to shine so brightly that the world can't look away. Heartbreak isn't your ending, it's your awakening. The moment you stop needing someone else's validation, you become unstoppable. Sister, this is your rebirth, your revolution, your time to rise. So, what's your next step? Take one action today. Write down a fear, start a new hobby, or simply choose silence. Every choice is a brick in your inner empire. Which of these 5 steps hit you hardest? Share your story in the comments. We're all on this journey together. If this video sparked something in you, hit that like button. Subscribe to Jung Psyche Hub and tap the bell so you never miss an insight. Share this with a sister who needs to hear it. Let's grow, heal, and shine as a community. Because when you live as your truest self, you don't just transform your life, you inspire the world.